It's with delight I welcome you to the desk today, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on Global Television. We're coming to you live from Abuja, Nigeria studios. Just to put big stories in front of you this evening, given what we have seen today by way of the news coming through. So what we're going to do is to help you find a bit of context and perspective regarding all of these stories. Some of them very inspiring. As a matter of fact, they give some sort of comforting feeling. However, others are not so well pleasant because of the narrative around them, especially when you look at the way insecurity has heightened in the northern part of the country. Those of us who have followed the news the last few days, I'm sure we are most likely not ignorant of the development in Yobe State. You're wondering how all of a sudden the Yobe state's issue has come to the fore again. But we're taking a quick break now, everyone. When we return, we'll let you in on all of this.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are definitely because
that this country gets it right.
Who are these bandits?
It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are definitely because
that this country gets it right.
Who are these bandits?
It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex.
The Islamic State in West African province, also called ISWAP, has claimed responsibility for the attack that led to the killing of 34 villagers in Yobe State. It had earlier been reported that the terrorists attacked Mafa town around 4 p.m. just on Sunday, killing people and setting houses as well as shops on fire. In a letter written in Arabic and released by the insurgents, the group claimed responsibility for the attack. It said the village was attacked for allegedly providing information to the military, which led to the killing of its members. So, by the way, it's a pleasure to have you again today here, Ramsey.
Thank you.
Agbo.
Thank you very
yes. You know, it's interesting how these things just continue to unfold in ways that are extremely worrisome. Right, this is ISWAP now taking responsibility for the killing that happened in Yobe just 2 days ago. That was a Sunday. They're saying that they had to attack the villagers because, according to them, these villagers had leaked information, giving intel to the military about them, and that intel they also claim led to the, as it were, the killing of their own members. All right, therefore they had to come back to the village to even up, as it were. So that's why we found all of this killing. I mean, people in their dozens, houses burnt, and so on and so forth. Of course, you can't talk about insurgency in the northeast, whether it's Adamawa, Borno, and not mention Yobe as one of those 3 states that are worst hits, even though Borno seems to be more like the hotspot, so to speak, right? When you look at all of this, you realize that we are not out of the woods yet with regards to fighting insecurity, which means that there's still a whole lot of work to be done. Yes, just a few days ago, the president has said the Minister of State for Defense, you moved to Sokoto alongside security chiefs and what have you. But you want to ask yourself, who then will move to Yobe State, which of course is not in the northwest like Sokoto, instead is in the northeast?
Well, it's so unfortunate that these things keep happening. And, I don't know. Maybe I should say there is some form of silence, because I don't think I know the capacity of
the Nigerian
military.
Right.
I know what they can do. You know, even before we were born, we know what the Nigerian military has been and what they still are until now. So. These people, you know, for them to know that these villagers are leaking information about them to the military, it means there are informants,
right,
even from that community, from that village. In other words, there might be somebody who knows somebody that is a member of this ISWAP. And
right,
that makes it easier, all right, for them to be apprehended. But then, who is carrying out this investigation? How is this investigation being done? What happens to our intelligence? I know, as a matter of fact, we've heard some persons saying, well, they can interface between the federal government and these people. Meaning these people are in the society. These people are among us. If whether or not they infiltrated from other parts of the country, whether they are in this country, and there are people who know this ISWAP,
right,
this terrorists, whatever they are called. And so what I feel is, as a matter of fact, thank God that the chiefs are moving that way. But then, Borno is not on that axis. So as it is, I think more intelligent work needs to be done. More, because if we keep quiet,
right,
this thing will escalate. You remember how this thing started, like a joke. Sometimes being politicized.
With Boko Haram back
Boko Haram,
in 2010 or about?
2010. It was being politicized. Oh, they don't want this person's government, so that's why this thing is coming up. This and no, whoa, don't touch them. All right, before you know, service chiefs were being changed. And so many things were done. But look at where it has escalated to today.
Even at that, there doesn't seem to be the guarantee that we are going to run circles around this challenge anytime soon. Right? It's interesting, but I love the fact that you did mention the very importance, I mean, the sheer necessity for us to do more of intelligence gathering and be able to deploy that intelligence in a way that can help solve these problems real time. Of course, we have seen security experts and analysts also talk about how that we must find a way to combine both kinetic and non-kinetic efforts to be able to win this war. We've seen even non-state actors lend their voice, put their resources just to ensure that this becomes an issue of the past. But it appears to be a one step forward, 4 step backwards kind of situation right now. But you see, the governors in these states, we have seen them also make efforts. We've seen them, you know, come to the table to say, look, let's have a conversation about how we want to win this war. But how far-reaching those efforts are remains to be seen. We have seen the president speak to issues around insecurity in different parts of the northern region of the country. But whether or not we follow our words, our pledges with action, again, is something we cannot authoritatively confirm. Because it's impossible almost, Ramsey, for you to have phenomena like insurgency, banditry, kidnapping a country, and governments at whether state or federal level seems to be at crossroads, seems to be lost as to what do we do, what's happening. We don't seem to have...
It's obvious.
Yes, we're losing grip of this and things like that. So I think for whatever it's worth, yes, the loss of lives alone should bother us. The fact that we're losing lives almost on a daily basis should make every right-thinking Nigeria to stay up all night. But beyond that, or at least in addition to that, we're supposed to be able to look at the embarrassment it causes Nigeria. I mean, you have no idea how many otherwise foreign investors that would have been here who have refused to want to touch Nigeria or Nigeria's business space with a 10,000-foot pole. Because the first thing they are asking themselves is, if we come here to Nigeria, what's the guarantee that our business or our lives will be saved? Because I remember sometime in 2004, 2005, former governor of the CBN, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, while being the CBN governor, was somewhere in New York, in the US, and he was speaking to Nigerians. He was telling them of the fact that there had been reforms going on in the financial sector, and they could come back home and invest. After all, no place like home, they say. I remember one gentleman wearing white agbada. He got up. I mean, you could tell these are Nigerians who are established abroad. I mean, accomplished businessmen. He said, the issue is not whether or not we are patriotic enough to come home and invest. The concern we have revolves around two things. Because then it was actually the Niger Delta militants that were the rave, not even insurgency and banditry and all of that. We have two concerns. The first concern is security of our investments. The second concern is security of our lives. I'm sure, as young as I was, I could imagine in my head that must have made Professor Soludo's job a little harder than it should be. But we're just getting started on the conversation, everyone. We're back shortly after this break to continue just putting the narratives in front of you. Stay with us.
Is it clear? Huh? The finish on the show. Let's come close.
The price of premium motor spirits, otherwise called petrol, in Kano is said to have jacked up to 1,200 naira across some filling stations as the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, that is the NNPCL outlets, have now adjusted pump price to 904 naira per litre. Now, the company's outlets are believed to be currently inundated by long queues as the price of the commodity has skyrocketed. You know, Mike Edikon and I were talking earlier today. Of course, he's going to join us in the course of this conversation tonight. We're talking just an hour or two ago, and he said that his fear is not just that there's the concern around fuel scarcity, price of the product, and all of that. But the fact that even the NNPC fuel station, not very far away from our studios, has shut down and is not selling or dispensing products. That gives him concern. About this whole process, but I think Michael would be the better person to put us, just give us a perspective about this from the streets standpoint, because I can imagine queues across filling stations right now. That is for those who are even selling the product at all. You can imagine how difficult it is for commuters to get vehicles from one point to another. Those who are using public or commercial vehicles. You can imagine how difficult it is for people to be able to commute to work and back home. Some of my colleagues were jokingly saying a while ago that they're not so sure they can come to work tomorrow. But as jovial as they sound about it, there's some legitimate concern, because if people who usually commute to work with little or no hitches now suddenly can't find a vehicle, you know what implications that has.
Well, let me take us back a little bit to when this subsidy was removed.
Okay.
The first time subsidy was removed. Let me tell you some of the implications. I can still remember people who completely, they lost their jobs. Some cannot go to work anymore because their take home
can't take them home.
Couldn't take them home anymore. Then some other persons, businesses shut down. So many things happened. That was when the subsidy was removed.
Right.
Then subsequently, fuel became a living thing and started growing. The price of fuel started growing on a daily basis as a living thing. First of all, we heard it was 6 something, got to 7 something, 8 something. Today, as we speak, just this afternoon, can I tell you something? The price jacked up. That's for NNPC, jacked up to about
we're hearing 904 now.
904. Initially, this morning, it was 890 something. Presently, as we speak, it's 900 and something. That is for NNPC and some filling stations.
What we can colloquially refer to as government filling stations.
Government in quotes, because some are actually branded.
Right.
Right. People came to the office this morning. You know how it works these days. People work based on budgets.
Right.
People came to the office this morning with the intention of going back home with the usual budget.
Right.
But a lot of them will hit the road going back home this evening, and it will become a different story altogether. You won't even get the vehicles.
Because you're going to have fewer vehicles on the road,
Fewer
apparently
vehicles.
on account of the fact that most of these vehicles are not able to buy petrol.
Some of them have been on queue. If you go outside right now, you see that the road is even scanty. Before now, people have parked their cars. The few vehicles on the road that struggle to get fuel, today, as of today, they can't even get. The worst part of it is the fact that they are not even selling. Some persons may want to take the risk to get a fuel. But these stations are not even selling at all. So a lot of people today, as we speak, will be stranded. Some couldn't come to work this morning. Some couldn't get to their offices this morning. I heard some persons got to the road and were stranded. And no vehicle, they couldn't get to their offices this morning.
Let's talk to Edikon Michael. Hopefully he's able to just give us some insights and help us feel the pulse of Nigerians who are queuing up to buy fuel. Just to mention that Edikon Michael is joining us from the Wuse area of Abuja, live via Zoom. Michael, quickly, give us some idea, some sense of what it's like right now. I won't be surprised by the time you come on screen, there will be some queue either behind or beside you. But quickly, just give us a summary of what it's like out there. Blow back. back there, but the tech team will take care of it, and we'll be able to reconnect with Edikon Michael. That was actually an NNPC service station at the Zone 1 Wuse area of the FCT, where Michael was standing a while ago. That's one service station that we have known over time to be dispensing the products every other day, like 7 days a week. But just a few hours ago, we were told that they had shut down service. But of course, as expected, vehicles will still be queued up in the hopes that they will resume dispensing. But we can only hope for the best now, can't we?
Pathetic. It's so pathetic. This is somehow disappointing, all right, to not just Nigerians alone. But then, you said something while we're talking about insurgency.
Right.
You talked about the international community, Nigerians outside, investors, and all of that. Number one, people are using fuel now, not just for vehicles alone, to power their generators. The generating plants, majority of it use this fuel. So businesses will shut down. Vehicles will not move. People will be stranded.
Right.
These are the implications. Then for this filling station where Michael is right now, it's one filling station, like you said, no matter what. If you pass that axis, you see vehicles queued up, getting filled,
Late into the night.
Late into the night.
That's right.
No matter how the scarcity is in town, if you get to that filling station, you always see vehicles queued up, getting fueled, and all of that. And because of the way they sell, the price. But as it is right now, they are not even dispensing. They don't even have. They are shut down. That's to tell you. I don't know. Something came to my mind. There is, I don't know, something fishy is happening right now. Okay.
Within the oil and gas industry.
Yes, the marketers, especially within the marketers.
Right.
You know how they do it. This is how they operate in this part of the world. In Nigeria, I don't know how it is in other states, but in Abuja, if you go around, you discover that even when sometimes they create artificial scarcity,
right.
Then you get to a filling station, 2 pumps are selling out of 5 pumps.
Even though 5 pumps are actually able to sell.
But just to create that artificial scarcity, and that helps them make more money. Maybe, I'm being tempted to say maybe they've heard that something will happen in the next 48 hours from Dangote Refinery. And that may even affect the products that they have right now. And therefore, they are trying to cause this artificial scarcity so that people will rush and buy at a particular price. I'm just saying, okay?
It's not speculation.
It's just speculation. I'm just speculating, all right? Maybe that could be part of it. Because these people always have reasons why they do things in their favor. Apart from the fact that some of these filling stations have their fuel pumps adjusted, they still create this artificial scarcity within themselves. There's a way they speak to themselves. Okay, this filling station will not sell today. You sell tomorrow. That's how it's been
You're
done.
particularly talking about the independent marketers.
The independent marketers.
Right.
And you see what's happening right now. I think this is one thing. I think I will need to say this. This is one of the things that this present administration have to do. Because this is something that affects almost everybody. And it's not a good name for this administration at all.
Right. Okay, we need to talk about name a little this evening on the program, because there's been a reaction to this issue too. The issue of NNPC jacking up its prices all of a sudden in the course of business today. We're trying to get the audio taken care of so that Michael can join us in the course of this discussion tonight. But in the meantime, you know, when the news came through earlier today, Ramsey, that NNPC had done an upward review of its price, that it had been directed by government to, of course, the federal government, that is, to jack up its price. Now, the federal government itself has now come out to say, look, we have no hand in it. We never gave such a directive. As a matter of fact, we are not parcel or part of it, all right? I'm not so sure Nigeria is as interested in who gave the directive as they are bothered about the implications of this new price for them. And what it really gives the concern is if the NNPC, I mean, assuming that all we are hearing now about 904 naira per litre is to be true, it raises the concern of what happens with the pricing by independent petroleum marketers, because those are guys, I mean, they are the guys who are basically profit-oriented for obvious reasons. But again, in the meantime, just to move on to a different discussion along the same line of petrol related issues. Now, the Dangote refinery says it is set to roll out its first shipment of premium motor spirits, commonly known as petrol, today, Tuesday, September 3rd. The refinery, with a capacity of 650,000 barrels per day, has successfully completed its testing phase and is now ready to introduce its products to the local market. Now, this development is anticipated to provide much-needed relief to Nigerians who have been grappling with severe petrol shortages in various towns and cities across this country. One would have thought with this kind of story, people can give themselves high fives, maybe do 1759 of some kind, go to bed, sleep with two eyes closed, knowing that you're going to wake up tomorrow morning with some ease, all right, of the consciousness that the madness around trying to get petrol, even if not totally eradicated, but is abated. But with this story coming out about prices going up again beyond what we have known in recent times, I'm not so sure many people will find this Dangote story very inspiring. However, the idea behind Dangote rolling out its products officially today is supposed to, as they say, wet the market. That's what they say in the oil and gas industry. Wet the market, which means that you have products all over the place. You see, that's why sincerity becomes a very critical factor as well, Ramsey. Before now, we heard excuses from the NNPCL saying, okay, well, the challenge you're having is, the ship bringing products from overseas, the refined products, they got stock, they'll be delayed for maybe a week or at least less than 2 weeks. Okay, well, the ship is here now, but one union went on strike, so discharging has been a problem, getting them to the depot has been a problem. And then after that, he said, it's been one excuse after another. And then the Dangote narrative, the back and forth around the Dangote refinery has done its own damage. As a matter of fact, I sit here and I'm very sure that Nigeria as a country and the oil and gas sector itself have not recovered from the controversies that have trailed the Dangote Petrochemicals company.
Yes, I think, like you said, Nigerians, personally, when I even heard about the fact that Dangote Refinery is going to be bringing out fuel, I was happy. As a Nigerian, I was happy just to hear this. And I was being tempted to think that probably these people are trying to maybe jack their price up so that no matter what Dangote do, there will be a benchmark, so that he doesn't take the price too low for them. Like you said, they are profit oriented. They don't even care what anyone is feeling. All they are interested in, these independent marketers, is make more money. And that's the reason a lot of them, you remember, so many persons will go and get license that they want to build a filling station. But the filling stations are nowhere. We have a lot of, in case you don't know, we have a lot of black market filling stations in Nigeria.
But they look like the official legitimate
filling stations. Then, when these kind of things begin to happen, you start asking questions. Do we really have regulatory bodies? Because almost sometimes these people come out and do whatever they want to do and go scot-free with it. Nobody is saying anything. Look at what just happened. The federal government coming out to exonerate themselves. No, we didn't ask them to do that. Because they know Nigerians will surely raise eyebrow. Looking at what is happening. The hunger in the land, then you are adding this. The price, people are even struggling to get fare to their various places of assignment these days. But look at where this thing has gotten us to. Dangote Refinery, welcome development. But then, these people who are so interested in themselves, not minding what any other person is feeling, are you sure this cabas will not come out in another way? Look at what is happening now. This is a pointer, all right, to what is going to come thereafter. even if Dangote starts bringing out products.
That sounds like we still have a battle in front of
That's
us.
it.
Like they say, we
You can't go to sleep.
have won the battle, but the war is not over.
The war is not over. The war is not over. You know how they sound. They'll come on camera. They'll come on television and tell you something. So I think what Nigerians should do, this is a moment for us to just pray and trust God for the next line of action.
You know,
But in all,
Right.
in all, no matter where Baba is, see,
Baba, you mean
I mean the president.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm referring to him as a father now.
Father of the country.
A father of the country.
Right.
He's away in China for good. Yeah, as we're being made to understand, for good. But then these things happening like this, it shouldn't keep quiet. Something should be done, because what we're made to understand is subsidy is being removed. And you know, can I tell you something? Some people were happy when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu emerges as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, because there is something people believe, that he is the type, number one, that is outspoken,
Right.
and cannot be pushed here and there, like some persons said we've heard in the past. Meaning he is capable to dissolve or deal with any cabal if they exist at all. Like he talked about the elite of the elites when he was removing subsidy. So this thing should be dealt with. See, if not until the root cause of this problem is being dealt with, this thing will still germinate. It will still grow. These cabals, they can come out in another way, from another angle entirely.
Right.
Look at what is happening right now. This pricing is unbearable now. It's unbearable.
Interestingly, we have not been able to rejoin Michael Edikon, my colleague who is somewhere in town, trying to help us understand much better what exactly is going on in this industry right now, which also means that Abuja is not just the only city that is dealing with the issue of petrol scarcity. You can imagine what's happening across the Federation. Kano, for example, we are hearing that they are buying fuel now for 1,200. That's in Kano. That's the another metropolitan city in this country. Some people say Kano is the Lagos of the North. So you can imagine if fuel sells for 1,200 in a place like Kano, just for example, think about the impact that has in not just on Kano State, but across that belt of north west, for instance. So it's a universal phenomenon that's impacting the entire country at this point in time. We hope that this Dangote intervention, as I'd like to call it on the program tonight, will make a difference for the better. Okay, so we'll be talking differently when we return after this break. We encourage you to stay with us on the program. A former spokesman for Obi Dati campaign organization, Kenneth Okonkwo, has blamed the Labour Party's national chairman, Julius Abure, the party's crisis. Okonkwo accused Abure of returning the Labour Party into a personal business. He said the party has no elected officials at the ward, local government and state levels because, according to him, Abure had appointed leaders of the party across the nation, contrary to the party's constitution. Now, Okonkwo didn't stop there. He goes further to claim that despite court judgments on an inclusive convention, Abure had refused to obey the court orders. He also stated that Abure and his executive have hijacked the party that was supposed to represent the interest of the masses and indeed Nigerian workers. It's interesting how time changes because I'm trying to cast my mind back to some 1 year ago, some 1 year and 6 months ago, some 2 years ago. Because by June of 2022, Mr. Peter Obi, the former governor of Anambra State, had already officially joined the Labour Party, right, in Asaba, Delta State capital. And going forward from that point on, of course, Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo had also left the APC, coming to join not just the Labour Party, but to throw his weight behind the candidacy of Mr. Obi. And then there was this political romance and, if you like, this bond that they both shared. But now he says he has left the party. He says the party has been destroyed by the chairman, the national chairman, talking about Julius Abure, himself a lawyer who has been accused time and again, not just by Kenneth Okonkwo alone, by a few other persons within the party, especially within the leadership folds, to say, you keep violating the provisions of the constitution of the Labour Party. But you see, people say if you have a problem with a party, a political party, that is, you have two options. I don't know if there are other options, but people say you have two options. One is to believe that problem can be resolved and also see how much you can contribute to the efforts aimed at resolving that problem. Others say, well, the second and maybe the only other option you have is to leave the party for good. So what do you say?
Well, I don't know. Looking at the age of Labour Party, all right, if there's problem in APC, problem in PDP, it's understandable. But Labour Party, with the force, with the emergence of Labour Party in 2023, I don't expect them to start having problems now. They just tested the water. They've not gone anywhere. So where's this problem coming from? Personal interest.
Whose personal interest? Abure's, Obi's?
Everybody in that party.
Including maybe Kenneth Okonkwo himself.
Kenneth Okonkwo. Kenneth Okonkwo, I never knew him as a politician, okay, until recently. His effort, his contributions to the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election is not a small thing. The media round, the talks, and, you know, he has influence coming from Nollywood.
Right.
He had influence, and every of his fans, you know, looking at him, talking and supporting Peter Obi, a lot of people actually supported. And you remember, it was a virgin idea to extend the Virgin Party, and looking at the antecedent of Peter Obi and everything that played out in the 2023 election, a lot of people actually came for them. A lot of support came through Kenneth Okonkwo. Probably Kenneth Okonkwo, I don't know, all right, have his reasons why he's not aligning anymore with Labour Party. Probably he felt disappointed. Individual differences will have to play out.
Right.
Remember that. What goes for you may not go for me. And these are the kind of things a lot of people need to bury, coming together to work as a team. Politics is not a family meeting.
But they always say some political problems are family issues.
Let me tell you something.
Right.
It's because of the individuals involved, the actors, the people who dictate and determine what happens and want to keep determining, wanting to still remain relevant at every point. These are the things that cause these problems. The issue of Abure had been there. The problem had been there. But because they were fronting Peter Obi, people kept quiet, even though some things leaked in the process. Apart from
including allegations around financial misappropriation.
Remember.
Right.
So these are key things. And that's the reason I talked about personal interest from the beginning. Forget about the fact that everyone is saying, yeah, we need to unseat. Yeah, it's Obi we want and all of that, they still had personal interests. And anything, see, let me tell you something. Some of the things, like I was being told, my parents will always tell me, money, women, food, stay clear out of it. Don't allow these three things cause problem between you and anyone.
Anyone, right?
But as it is, one of the things that a lot of people go for in politics is the money. That's why some persons don't mind doing anything to emerge. And after emerging, they need to take as much as possible. Okay, let me say this now. Labour Party just came up. The support Labour Party had was because of individual. A lot of sentiment played out for Labour Party. In terms of individual, all right, this person is from my region, this person is my religion, is from my religion, this person is from my tribe, and all of that. These things played out. And congratulations to everyone that won election under the platform of the Labour Party. Congratulations to them. But then, the question I'm asking is this. Would Labour Party ever have the kind of patronage they had in 2023? Forget about the fact that Peter Obi somehow is everywhere these days. Some persons were not even comfortable with that. I've heard people say, why is it that any little thing, Obi is talking. Any little thing, he's talking. Talk about P Square, he's there. Talk about this in the north, he's there. Talk about traditional rulers matters, he's everywhere. Some people are not even comfortable with that. Then coming to talk about the rifts, the problem, Abure and the rest in Labour Party. I think what Labour Party should do, for me, like you gave an option, if there is a problem in a political party, it's either you get it solved with everything you have on your inside, everything within your disposal, or you leave. Kenneth, I think for Kenneth Okonkwo, for me, I feel it's too early. It's too early. I don't know if I am in the position, I'll make a rule. No more cross-carpeting. Look at any party that you feel you can work with and get in there and work and make things work.
So what if all of a sudden, because the laws are very clear about these things, right? First of all, fundamentally, you have freedom of association, which means I can say, I have been with party A for 6 years. All of a sudden, they have crises. They don't seem to have the capacity or the maturity or the leadership to resolve it. And as such, I'm not comfortable. I'm crossing over to party B. There's that one. There's also the fact that some people will tell you, I'm out of politics. I'm withdrawing from partisan politics. Therefore, I'm resigning my membership of this party. Just a few months to the next election cycle, they join another party. And then you wonder, okay, hold on a second. 2 years ago or less, you told us that you were out of partisan politics. But if we want to come back to the issue of the Labour Party, you and I knew how, for example, last year in particular, we saw how the Apapa faction of the Labour Party was raving. The Abure Party on their own side was raving. And then they found themselves in court. It was one litigation after another, accusations and counter-accusations over allegations of having misappropriated or in some sense stolen in manners that are outright the funds of the party, Abure being accused of having hijacked the party, becoming draconian with the kind of leadership he was providing in the party, Peter Obi being accused of being quiet over Abure's excesses and his high-handedness and what have you. And people were saying, hold on, I mean, is this not happening too early? We just came out from a general election where Labour Party, yes, may not have won the election, but did very well.
Very well.
So why don't you build on that towards 2027 and even beyond? Some people are now saying that, look, there's a chance that Peter Obi may end up even leaving the Labour Party by the time he realizes that the party cannot be salvaged. And if that happens, they say Labour Party will likely crumble like a pack of cards. They say, hold on. If he does that and goes to another party, whatever the name of that party may be, it will dent his own reputation. As we say, he will lose his street cred, that kind of thing. But it appears that Peter Obi has done two things with, for, and in the Labour Party. What are those two things? First of all, he has come to change the narrative that an underdog party can become prominent all of a sudden. That's number one. Number two is he has also shown that he has a personal clout, whatever that may be, that he carries, which he can take to any party in Nigeria today. That means if all of these I'm extrapolating are anything to go by, Peter Obi is a force to reckon with going into 2027. Now, the question will be, on the final note, is Labour Party thinking 2027? Is Labour Party thinking about where it was prior to Peter Obi joining the fold and what it was able to achieve, the milestone, the traction that they recorded on account of the Peter Obi factor? But you know, they say politicians will always be politicians.
Yesterday's glory is not good enough for today's battle. This is what it means. If Labour Party must amount to anything, looking at what is happening right now, there is this unity in Labour Party. Within the party, as we speak. So the only thing that would give Labour Party relevance right now is the measure. The measure. And if you talk about Labour Party in Nigeria, a lot of people don't even know this national chairman, the rest, the Abure, the Apapa, the Okonkwo, them.
Is Peter Obi.
That is when you talked about personality.
Right.
And I'm in lining with you right now. If he goes to any party now, okay, the only thing that can count for him a little bit is just that personality, that aura. Okay? And somebody says something, and I want to quote the person. The person said, Peter Obi has lost his opportunity of becoming the president of Nigeria in 2023. Somebody said it. And I was inquisitive. I was curious. I wanted to know why. Why that statement? And the person was saying, all right, look at the opportunity he had. Number one, with what happened in 2023, a lot of persons may not want to vote massively the way they did in 2023 anymore, looking at what happened. Because a lot of persons were angry, okay, allegedly that their votes never counted. A lot of people, a lot of persons said, we heard, we are journalists, we are with the people, you know, we interface between the people and the government and every other thing, watchdog of the society. So we hear a lot of things. Do you know that after and during the election, some persons were even calling us to say, look at what is happening. And this is my resolution. So a lot of people, after the 2023 election, some persons said they were never going to vote anymore, which is not the best. That we'll keep saying that. Not voting is not the option.
In fact, it's unpatriotic.
It's unpatriotic. We keep saying that. We don't want that to happen. Because if you're a Nigerian, you should vote.
Right.
That's your right. It's your civic right. You should vote. We've cancelled people who told us things like that they needed to vote, that that's not the last resort, that's not the last option. But then, look at what is happening in Labour Party. No party is void of rift. No party is void of rancors. The PDP have their own, the APC, you know, and all of that. So as it is right now, instead of just cross-carpeting, even though it's within the provisions, instead of just cross-carpeting, you're running from this party, going to another party. They may not tell you, but how relevant do you think you will be in that party? What's your pedigree politically? All right, if you want to cross-carpet, people who cross-carpet and are being welcome are the game changers in politics.
Right.
If you're a game changer, they know themselves. They know themselves. That's why you see, if APC, somebody said something during 2023 election. He said, these people who were in PDP, they were the ones that cross-carpeted to APC. So you just have a mixture of these people.
And that's why it's difficult to
That's
have
why
a
it's
clear-cut ideological base for political parties. It turns out time is not our side tonight. Of course, the desk just gives you the opportunity to talk about all of these issues. Ramsey Abo, thank you again for being part of this discussion.
You're welcome.
Tonight. We must realize that Nigeria is a project that is in the works, and as such, the fixing has started, but the engineering must be such that we probably need to adopt some sort of reversed engineering. We will have to dismantle this country in some sense and be able to fix it, whether it's economic or social, even political. Because as it stands right now, Nigeria appears to be in a place on many fronts in such a way that it's just one challenge after another. In 2024, Nigeria should be able to boast of certain things, including ease of buying fuel and being able to afford it by the everyday citizen. Until we're able to do that, meet the basic needs of our people, then it means the Nigerian dream will just be, at best, an illusion. And that's what we'll leave the program tonight. I am Uyag Mofwebe. At top of the hour, we'll bring you News Cycle here on Global Television. We'll see you again.